This is a certified hood classic.
You know, homies, just when you thought we had seen it all, there is another animation channel that we have yet to watch. Do you want to know who it is? I'm gonna pretend that you didn't already read the title and know exactly what we're doing. Today, my friends, we are checking out TimTom! TimTom, indeed. Thank you, Charlie. This is another one of the most requested channels. Every time I look at a new channel and it was the most requested channel, there becomes a new most requested channel. That's how the requesting channels works, I guess. But here we are.
Hi, my name is Tim Thomas, but my friends call me TimTom. I make cartoons.
I guarantee he does not sound that annoying. I apologize. I just can't help myself. But we are going to look at TimTom's channel today, and we are going to check out the essential viewing. I'm very excited for my opportunity to get to know Tim Thomas, and I hope that we have a great time today with 22 million views.
Dumb lies I told as a kid!
Okay, again, I'm very sorry. Dumb lies I told as a kid. Sounds like the perfect intro if you ask me. So I say, let's do it. RobertIDK, TimTom, 3, 2, 1, go. The cookie jar.
Timothy,
Yes, Mama?
did you eat the cookies, Timothy?
No, Mama.
You're lying, Timothy. You know what that means.
The hammer!
Lying is bad and you should never do it. Being dishonest with someone might just be the worst thing you can do. It's wrong, it's mean, and if you've ever deceived another, you know the eternal darkness that only an outlaw would call his friend. Anyway, here's a bunch of lies I told as a little kid. Big old juicy ones.
Yay! The darkness only known by an outlaw. My word, that is probably the last way I would have described lying, but I guess that works. I know we're gonna get into this more, so I'm not gonna talk too long right now. But yeah, I think everyone understands those vibes of like the feeling of lying and the feeling of holding on to a lie that you didn't get caught for, or the feeling that you hold on to when you do get caught. But sometimes the lie's the best thing you could do. I don't know, let's watch.
One time, I was at my grandma Emma's house while my mom was at work. It was getting close to the end of the day, so at any minute, our blue van was about to round the corner and come pick me up. Yes, I can't wait to see Mom. I could hardly contain myself, so I asked my grandma if I could walk to the end of the block to get a better view of the road. Toddler Tim needed to know the second Mom Tom entered the neighborhood. The latest info, thank you.
Okay, so do you love your mom like a crazy amount, or do you just not vibe with grandma too much? Were the vibes less immaculate at grandma's house? Did she only have a Sega Genesis like my grandma?
I need reliable updates or we're not gonna make our quarterly targets and I won't get to keep pretending this is a business. So, Grandma Emma said yes, and I headed to the end of the block. She trusted me to go alone. We were tight like that. So off I went, around the corner, past the neighbor's cactuses, and waited. And waited. Well, I've been here for a good 30 seconds. Better get back to business. Just gonna turn around and... Oh no! My clumsy little toddler feet are going down!
What's he gonna break?
I tripped and fell next to the cactuses, like in their vicinity. I wasn't in danger of getting pricked. The cactuses didn't even know I was there. But I looked across the sidewalk and was like, I almost died. I ran back to my grandma and told her that I had fallen into the cactuses. In my defense, I wanted kisses.
What? That is not where I thought that story was going. I thought the lie was gonna be like, he lied about going to check on his mom, or he went and did something else and he lied and was like, yeah, I was just at the corner the whole time. No, he lied about where he fell because he wanted kisses.
In my defense, I wanted kisses.
Tim, you really threw me for a loop there.
But she was mostly like, looks like you're gonna pull through. She did give me kisses, but when I went into the other room to play, the darkness struck. I've betrayed Grandma Emma's trust.
My
I got kisses, but at what cost? At what cost?
Oh my gosh.
I've genuinely held on to the guilt from that lie since I was a kid. And like, kids lie because they haven't been taught more skillful ways to get what they want. I could have just told Grandma I fell and it made me sad, please give me kisses, thank you.
Yeah.
But I wanted to look tough.
Man, that story was like the first third of the video. You've held on to that lie that long? Dude, let it go. You can let that one go. You're good. My gosh, I can't imagine the level of stress and guilt you must feel for unless you've lived a perfect life and never lied since then. I can't imagine the guilt you would feel from an actual lie. Like an actual harmful lie. My goodness, Tim. Is this the most well-behaved human on the planet Earth?
This other time, I had gotten my first bike, and I was pretty excited about it. Even when we weren't home, that's all I could talk about. Can't wait to get home and ride my bike.
Yeah.
I taped a radio to my bike so I can listen to tunes when I'm riding my bike. One day, I'll get good enough to take the training wheels off my bike.
Aw.
Yep, love my bike. Anyway, my grandma and I were driving somewhere, and we passed a bike shop. Bob's Bicycles on Fairview Avenue in Boise, Idaho. You know the one. And without thinking, I said, "That's where we got my bike." The lie detector determined that was a lie.
You got it at Toys R Us.
I had no idea where my mom got my bike. I just wanted to talk about it more. But before I knew it, that ever-familiar darkness crept in.
Are you serious?
How do I make this stop? I know, another lie. But don't ask Mom about it. She gets mad when you talk about Bob.
What? I cannot believe these are the dumb lies you told as a kid. I wouldn't even remember that. I was a well-behaved kid myself. And if I said these lies, I would not even remember it. It would be out of my life. Gone. Nowhere to be found in my brain.
Like the lady who swallowed a spider to catch the fly, I just made things way worse. And now,
gosh.
I was caught in my own web of lies. What if she asks Mom anyway? What if my mom mentions the store she actually got it from? What if my bike breaks and Grandma takes it to Bob's Bicycles to get fixed, but then they tell her that they don't sell that kind of bike, and then my grandma has to drive to all the bike stores in town to find someone who can help her, and then her car breaks down and she gets stranded and dies? That's nice, honey.
Grandma! No! I lied! What did you say, Tim? That's how you ruin a relationship forever. That's how you have your grandma never look at you the same ever again. Now, I understand why you told those lies and why it's haunted you so much, Tim. That truly sounds like a darkness that only a true outlaw could understand.
Of course, now I know that if you're caught up in a lie, you just tell the truth and apologize. Easy. I mean, it's that or live with the guilt for the rest of your life, which, who would do that? Me! The dumbest lie I ever told was in elementary school. I had just gotten a personal data assistant, which was like a smartphone before smartphones were a thing. And let me tell you, that was the only PDA I was gonna get for a while. Wordplay. It had a calculator and a calendar and an address book. Okay. It was one of the really cheap ones because a third grader only has so much money. I don't even think it had games, but I loved it because I'm a nerd and it was basically a computer in your pocket. It was neat. But none of the other kids appreciated how cool it was. So, I lied about what it could do. I was like, beep boop, I just ordered a plane ticket. Yep, I got important business to do. You should be so impressed. I'm booking a hotel right now.
Teacher, Tim's capping. Timothy, stop the cap.
Why did you call this video Dumb Lies I Told as a Kid when you could have called this video The Kid with the Cap? The kid with the cap! Times I got caught capping. Sorry, guys. Is it too early for me to be yelling this much? I'm not sure.
And one girl was like, no, you're not. She thought I was pretty cool. Later that day, it fell out of my desk. And when I was scooting my chair in, I crushed it.
Oh no.
The screen was destroyed. And so was I.
Oh no.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Well, at least they won't know I lied.
Yay! Hello?
When you're done with that, mow the lawn.
Well, that was the most random ending of any animation I've ever seen. I feel like that is such a common thing for kids to do, is lie about what technology can do. I don't know if you can get away with it the same way now that technology is so crazy, but kids used to lie about technology all the time. And you know, they also used to lie about what happens in video games. Back in the day, homies, you couldn't just look up what to do in a video game or see every cutscene in a video game on YouTube. You had to just play the game, try and figure it out, go to school the next day, and talk to someone else who has either played the game or has talked to another person who knows things about the game. And this kid may have lied to this kid, who may have lied to this kid in a different way, then lied to this kid in a different way, who then lied to you. I remember playing Super Mario 64, and the first key door in the castle, I couldn't get through. I didn't have the abilities to get through that. So, oh my word. The lies that were told to me. Some kid in kindergarten was like, oh yeah, you go through that door, and then I remember this word for word. You go in there, and then there's a spider, and then he tickles you, and then he punches you, and then you have to jump like this. Jack. I remember you, Jack, and your lies. You think that didn't stick with me when I played that game and there was no spider? Now that is a lie that is worth being devastated over, Tim. Anyways, that was a great video. On to the next one. My first job. So we know how Tim handles the stress of a little white lie. Let's see how he handles the stress of employment. So far, I hate to say it, Tim, but I'm not too confident. Not too confident in you, bro, but let's see.
My first job was at a hardware store.
Ooh.
I just needed a job for the summer, you know? Get a little extra cash, buy a laptop for school. And when the application asked, when are you available? I was like, always. It's summer, dummy. Which was a mistake, because it got me the job. On the first day, we did the whole orientation thing. They taught us the history of the company and how to use the registers. This was my first job, so I had no idea what to expect, and I really wanted to do well. So I was paying close attention and taking notes. I don't want to brag, but I'm pretty smart. I graduated high school a whole year early, so I know how to pay attention. Fun fact, the first store in the chain I worked at put empty boxes on the top shelves to make it look like they had more of everything in stock.
Wow. Okay, that's big. That's a big brain move. I have not seen that. Man, how infuriating would that be when you actually are running out of a product and need to find more? That sounds like pain. The two retail stores I worked at, again, were, I've talked about this before, but Best Buy and Staples, baby. And yeah, Top Stock, I think is what they were calling it. Top Stock, when they have boxes of the products, you know? So it's like if it's empty here, you go, oh, let me just, hey, just a second, let me go to Top Stock. And then you go and get one. But not at this hardware store. They literally lie. That is a more harmful lie than your lies in the last video, Tim, is lying about having stock.
I know this because I paid attention. Early on, I was scheduled for the opening shift, so I had to be at the store at like 5:30 in the morning. There was a strict protocol for opening the store. Everyone was supposed to wait in their cars until the manager walked outside and signaled for them to come in. If he didn't walk out by a certain time, we were supposed to call the cops. Easy. The only problem was they didn't tell us that during orientation, and I know because I paid attention. So I showed up early, parked my car, and headed to the building. There was another employee out front watering the flowers. I went up to the automatic doors, but they didn't open, so I thought I'd ask the flower guy. And he was like,
when did you say you were available when you applied for this job?
Which was a little confusing. I wrote always, how do I get inside? And he said,
my nephew tried to get a cashier job, but he's got class on Tuesdays.
What on earth? So here's what my ears just picked up from that. Tim and his co-star here are both recording their lines at very different distances to their microphones.
How do I get inside?
My nephew tried to get a cashier job.
So I asked him, hey, when can I get into the store? And he replied, very good. Very good. That was funny though. But also, shout out to Tim.
I know this because I paid attention.
You paid attention in school and orientation? Good for you. Probably the first animator so far that we have watched who I think is good at focusing on things.
Okay, but the doors aren't working, so... Then he told me to just go bang on the doors a bunch because the manager probably forgot to unlock them. So I did. And guess what? The manager came out and freaking yelled at me. When I told him nobody ever told me about the protocol, you know what he said? You must not have been paying attention.
You don't say that to TimTom.
Other new cashiers if the protocol was even mentioned during orientation, and they told me no. They had to have it explained to them by someone else. So not only was the manager already mad at me for something they didn't tell me, the flower guy was trying to get me fired. Awesome! I really tried to like that job, and some of the people that I worked with were super nice. But one thing that I didn't like was the garden center. The garden register was in this glass box with a broken fan that felt like an actual oven. And there was a security camera that I'm pretty sure was only there to watch me, because if I walked out of the oven or sat down, someone would come out and tell me to climb back into the oven and stand up. I understand that it looks unprofessional if an employee is sitting down all the time, but what difference does it make if nobody's around? For hours. You trying to bake me like a ham? But every now and then, there would be a huge tsunami of customers all wanting to check out at the same time. The line would wrap all the way to the back of the store. I'm working as fast as I can and people are getting impatient, so I call for backup and keep working. But nobody shows up, so I get through everyone by myself. That's when another cashier strolls into the garden center and asks, I thought you needed help. I did 30 minutes ago.
That would drive me crazy. That's another thing that is making me think that Tim may be more mentally stable than myself and most animators. Because, dude, I could not do a job like, I guess James, I guess, seems like a pretty patient dude. But I just feel like most of us creative types struggle with things like that. The anxiety I would have, I could never be a cashier. I did have to ring some people out at my jobs at Staples and Best Buy, but when I was ringing people out, it was only with card and it was just the customer I was working with. I wasn't just getting the endless line of people. Like, oh my gosh, dude. Any Canadians here, y'all know what Boxing Day is. Okay, some Americans don't know what Boxing Day is, and some Americans do have Boxing Day, I don't know. But basically, in Canada, Boxing Day is the day after Christmas, where it's like Black Friday sales. Boxing Day is our Black Friday. But now, I guess we also have Black Friday and stuff, because corporate America, corporate Canada, whatever. But basically, I cannot imagine a cashier on Boxing Day or Black Friday. Like, I don't have it in me, dude. I do not have that in my repertoire of things I can mentally handle, dude. And my friends, if you're enjoying this video so far, I would really appreciate it if you unfull screen for a second and hit the like button on this video real quick. That would be really cool. And hit the subscribe button on this channel if you haven't already. Beyond that, make sure you are subscribed to TimTom. He's the one who did all the hard work on these videos. I'm just the guy being silly and looking at them. So please make sure you are supporting the original creator. Thank you.
But that pales in comparison to the customers themselves. First, I don't know how to fix a house, but the minute I put on that apron, everyone expects me to be some kind of skilled craftsman. I got paid $8 an hour. Do you think they taught me how to fix a bivalve? I don't even know what that is. So guess what, old people? Don't get mad at me when I don't know how to replace your water heater. I'm a cashier, not a plumber. One time, this old lady was unloading stuff from her cart onto the counter real slow, and I had scanned a few things, but I had to wait for her. Not many people know this, but cashiers are timed from the moment the first item is scanned, and I didn't want this lady to hurt my numbers, so I hit the button to start over. She saw me clear the screen and started yelling at me for slowing everything down. She was so mean for no reason.
Hey, guess what? That rule was not explained to her during orientation, Tim. Yeah, see how that feels, Tim? She has no idea why you're restarting the transaction, bro. You expect her to just know that? See, it goes both ways, Tim. People expect you to know everything, but you expecting some people to know everything too. Anyways, this is really fun.
She was so mean for no reason. Actually, you know, this was like 5 years ago. She might be dead now. Good. At the end of the summer, I was so ready to quit. I'd only been there for a couple of months, but a guy can only take so much abuse, okay? And on my last day, I realized, I can do anything. What are they gonna do, fire me? Here's a little secret. Cashiers where I worked could reduce the price of anything up to $50 without needing a manager's approval. I was so sick of being abused by customers that I initiated Project... Give everyone 10% off so they wouldn't yell at me over insignificant things and my last day wouldn't suck as much as it would otherwise, because seriously, people are so mean to cashiers. Why do they do that? .com.
Yeah, that's how you get them, Tim. How do you fight back against mean customers? You give them a discount. Give them what they want, not what they deserve. This is not the discount we deserved, but the discount we needed. Or whatever people say in YouTube comments when people collab.
I kind of felt like Oprah. You get 10% off. You get 10% off. I'm invincible. Everything is free. Ha ha ha. It was a good day. Since I posted my last video, I've gotten 120,000 subscribers. At one point, I was the fastest growing channel in the world. Which is terrifying, but also amazing.
That's
all I can
so
say
cool.
is thank you to all you weirdos who thought it was a good idea to subscribe, and to James from The Odd Ones Out for sucking at Tetris.
I lost.
Yes! Yes!
This is so fun. I love looking at old YouTube pages. I have been using YouTube regularly since 2006, so anytime I just get a glimpse of how YouTube channels used to look, it's so nostalgic for me. I love looking at it. That was so much fun. I don't know, I think I liked that one even more. I don't know, those were both really good. And they are nice and quick. So I think, Tim, if you don't mind, I think we got time to hammer out a couple more. Arresting a guy at VidCon. 14 milli views, 3 minutes long. I was just at VidCon 3 days ago. The stars are aligning here. I will talk about my VidCon experience in a couple minutes. I say let's get into it. Let's just get into it. Let's do it, people.
Ichi, ni, san.
I used to work for VidCon, not just as a volunteer, I was on staff year-round. And during the event, I was one of only like a dozen people to have the rarest, most powerful executive staff black badge.
Ooh.
When you're at VidCon with a black badge, you are a god. All of the security has to listen to you, all the special guests have to do what you say, only you have the power to say, they're with me, and get anyone into any party. It's the best.
Man, I really could have used that a few days ago, Tim. I really could have used that a few days ago. Because guess what, people? RobertIDK had a pretty rough start to the year, in case you forgot. And I didn't set up anything with VidCon ahead of time. If I had reached out to VidCon earlier, I could have got a featured creator badge and been able to do featured creator stuff. But instead, I forgot VidCon existed until like a week before it happened, and so I just had to buy a regular ticket. And so meeting up with friends was really, really hard. Anyways, if Tim was around with his black badge, that could have changed my life.
Oh my god, is that a black card? I turned around and replied, why yes, but I prefer the term African American Express.
Of course, the price you pay for that power is not having time to even sleep for an entire week as you run around putting out fires and making sure that everyone else is having fun. True. At my first VidCon, I was in charge of registration, so I spent most of my time front and center in the lobby. I was one of the only black badges that was in one place for more than like 10 seconds at a time, so when security saw someone with a counterfeit badge, they confiscated it and brought it to me. Time to put those black badge powers to work.
Yes.
Attention all security, be on the lookout for counterfeit badges. We got cheap laminated photocopies in the wild. Please confiscate immediately. Over.
And then, as if I had announced a free ice cream giveaway for anyone wearing a security uniform, the sky blackened with guards bringing me counterfeit badges. By which I mean like 4 guards walked over and handed me some counterfeits, but they were big dudes. It was scary. So I had this pile of fakes, and I began some detective work.
Ooh.
At this point, I don't have much information to go on. This line of work will chew you up and spit you out if you let it.
Yeah.
Curious, several of the counterfeits look identical. Clearly made by the same person.
Ooh,
a dangerous
get him,
madman
Tim.
was on the loose, and it was up to me to stop him.
Get him!
I had my wife to think about, but she knows the dangers that come with the badge. Just kidding, I'm single. Eventually, security escorted 2 girls over to me who had counterfeits matching the others. I told them they weren't in trouble, I just wanted to find out where the fakes were coming from. We found them?
Don't lie to me, where are the others?
And they must have been terrified that I transformed into Batman before their very eyes.
Where are they? Where are they?
I have used that in so many videos over the years.
Where are they? Where are they?
Killing is making a choice.
Where are they? Where's the trigger? Where's the trigger?
Oh my god! And they must have been terrified that I transformed into Batman before their very eyes because they start describing the guy who sold them the badges. He has red hair, he's going bald, he has a gray backpack, and wouldn't you know it, someone matching that description starts coming down the escalator behind them. So I go, that guy? And dear viewer, you'll never guess what their answer was. Yep. Go, go, go! Security swarms the bottom of the escalator. Everyone is yelling conflicting orders. Stay there, follow me, sit down, stand up. It's a total mess. So I wade into this mosh pit at the bottom of the escalator and yell, everyone shut up!
Really?
I stared deep into that dirtbag's tattered soul. He thought he could get away with it.
Brave.
Not today, pal. Not today. Sir, on these premises, your bag is subject to search. I'm gonna have you sit over there and we're gonna search your bag. So he followed me back to the registration booth and I opened his bag to find quite the stack of counterfeit badges. We called the police to deal with him and he was arrested on felony counterfeiting charges.
Whoa.
I caught a felon. The streets were safe. for now.
Dude, that's a huge charge. Do not mess with VidCon. Do not mess with VidCon. Also, Tim, the bravery. You just told a bunch of security guards to shut up and move aside, big security guards. Let me handle this. Hi, I'm Tim. I'm letting the security guards handle that. If we're talking about a criminal, who knows what they're capable of, you know?
As for the girls who had just been scammed out of $200, we gave them a couple of real badges for helping us catch the guy. I don't really know if there's a moral to this story, but maybe it's don't counterfeit, because you will go to prison.
That's crazy, dude. Felony counterfeiting charges? That's crazy. That's like if he made a fake $100,000. Yeah, no, don't mess with VidCon. They are not messing around. All right, that was a great story. And we got time for one more quick one.
My most embarrassing school moments.
What were they, Tim? There's only one way to find out.
Ichi, ni, san, konbanwa.
So you know how I'm incredibly confident and definitely not awkward or unsure of myself in any way whatsoever? Well, it wasn't always like that. It's still not, actually, but it used to be worse. My self-confidence probably reached its lowest point around the 8th grade, which might sound pretty scary to any Sevies watching, so real quick, if you're struggling with self-confidence, I just want to say, it gets worse.
Oh, Tim, no! No, Tim does seem confident. We were literally just talking. I feel like Tim's kind of confident. Unless that counterfeit guy was the least intimidating person ever. I don't know, dude. You seem kind of confident to me. You don't seem too bad.
Anyway, my 8th grade year, and also all the others, were filled with me not knowing how to act or what to do in pretty much any situation, which led to a ton of embarrassing moments that I can make into a video score. One time, I got a pimple in my ear that itched real bad. The whole day, I was doing everything I could to ignore it, but when I was sitting in history, it just got way too distracting. So I gave it a little scratch. I did everything I could to clean up the blood before anyone noticed, but I didn't just pop the pimple, I replaced it with a blood faucet. I asked the teacher if I could use the bathroom, and he was like, no. But then I said, yeah, but I'm bleeding out of my ear. So he was like, fine.
Fine! Overtime! What is wrong with you? Fine! Wow, Professor Fartimus. Act like you've been there before, bro. Act like you've been there.
Another time, that same teacher sent me to sit in the hall for like 5 minutes. I don't remember why. I was probably talking too much. It's not important. I ended up falling asleep in the stairwell and woke up when the bell rang like half an hour later. I went back into the room to grab my stuff, and the teacher was like, oh, I forgot about you. Actually, that was probably more embarrassing for him. At least I got a sweet nap out of it. One day, I was doing on my homework in math class. I was a couple years ahead in math, so I was the youngest kid in the room, and I didn't really know anyone. Some people would use that opportunity to be charismatic and make new friends, but I decided to be socially awkward and talk to nobody. Anyway, I doodled my name like this because I think it looks cool.
TimTom. That does indeed say TimTom. Very cool.
Think it looks cool. And the girl who sat next to me was like, whoa, do my name. I didn't know her name. I've never been great with names to begin with, and this was the only class I had with her, but we were at least halfway through the school year. I definitely should have known. But you can't just tell someone you've been sitting next to every day for months that you can't remember their name. So I told her to do it herself.
Got him! Wow, okay, yeah, Tim, you clearly have come a long way. If you told the security guards to shut up, pushed through them, and dealt with that hardened criminal yourself, yet you couldn't ask this person their name, bro? In fact, you were so uncomfortable with asking for her name, you would rather do something mean than do that. That is discomfort. I gotta give it to you.
She never talked to me again. I panicked, okay? I didn't want to be rude, but I couldn't bring myself to admit that I didn't know her name, even though that probably would have been less embarrassing.
Yeah.
Wait. Most of the moments I was mortified about during school were actually not a big deal, like at all. And I was dumb for thinking anyone cared.
It sounds exactly like the lies that you told as a kid.
And I was dumb for thinking anyone cared. Because they didn't. But at the time, I would have switched schools just to avoid anyone who ever saw me, like, accidentally walk down the wrong hallway. Which isn't a super embarrassing thing to do. And everyone's done it at least a few times, but it's happened enough to me that if you added up all the mild embarrassment, there might be more than from any other single dumb thing I've done. I wonder how many miles I've spent walking the wrong way. I've probably burnt so many calories. There were a few ways I'd try to cover a mistake like that. I'd check my phone and pretend that I'm turning around because of a text, or I'd just commit and keep walking down the wrong hall.
Tim, you
Take
got
the stairs
this.
to the second floor and loop all the way around back to where I actually needed to go. I'd waste a ton of time just to avoid people seeing me backtrack.
Oh,
What's wrong with me? I was talking to a friend about this, and when I asked how she'd cover, she was like,
What's your name? I don't know your name.
That's what you deserve in that moment, Tim. You couldn't turn around. You couldn't have people see you turn around, boss. Come on. Come on. What if you accidentally turned into the aisle where the teacher set up the trip mines? If you accidentally jumped off a bridge, would you do it too? That's what I thought. See, it doesn't make any sense.
oh, if I ever went the wrong way, I'd just turn around.
Whoa!
Get out. Looking back, I'm more ashamed of the things I did to avoid embarrassment than the things I was trying to avoid in the first place. So I guess there's another lesson for you. It gets even worse.
Oh
like
my
this one
gosh.
time, I was heading to my locker after lunch, and when I rounded the corner, this girl jumped out and scared me. I screamed in the highest pitched girly girl voice you've ever heard. I probably broke a few windows. Of course, the girl who spooked me was laughing after a successful spook, so I tried to laugh it off with her. At that point, I might have escaped with only mild embarrassment, but someone else walked up and asked what was so funny.
Oh no, this is bringing back memories. I haven't tried it in so long because I'm not a child anymore and I can't just scream for no reason. I used to be able to do the perfect like that, but like twice as high and just loud. I can't even like do it. I don't think it's in my repertoire anymore. I could do the perfect shriek, like little girl shriek. And I used it at all opportunities, except for the one time, homies, when I was shouting in my hockey game. I have the edit of this. I'm not gonna re-edit this story because I edited it like 2 years ago when I told it on the channel. I'm gonna see if I can track it down. You know what? Here's the story. My worst voice crack of all time, and I still think about it to this day, was during hockey. I used to play defense, so I was like out back, and I was kind of like a hype man. I would always like be like, yo, go for it, shoot, go hard. And there was a time when straight up, just like, I was back, the rest of the team was up there, I was like, go hard! I was trying to say go hard, but it straight up was, go hard! I'm not kidding you. It was like the highest scream I've ever done in my life. It was loud. Everyone in that rink, everyone in that arena heard me. It's truly one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. So if you're going to scream things during a hockey game, make sure you're done puberty. Worst voice crack of my life.
But someone else walked up and asked what was so funny. It would have been so easy to say, I screamed like a girl, but oh no. 8th grade TimTom went to incredible lengths to avoid embarrassment.
Of course.
So, in an attempt to dodge the question, I just laughed harder. I can't
That's
answer
better.
the question if I'm busy laughing, right?
Yeah,
but
it's
the
better.
harder I laughed, the more everyone around us wanted to know what was so funny.
Oh,
I was
good.
drawing a crowd. Crap. The more people wanted to know, the more I wanted to avoid explaining anything. And I had very few options other than to just keep laughing.
Okay, yeah, Tim, I take back what I said earlier. You're just as weird as the rest of us. I was like, wow, this Tim guy seems very well adjusted. This seems like a dude who's like closer to a normal human than most animators and myself. Turns out that's not the case. But hey, I'm happy to see that you're a part of the club, Tim.
After the lunch bell rang, we had 5 minutes to get to class, and it took about 1.5 minutes to clean up and start heading to my locker, which means I stood there fake
my
laughing
gosh.
for an eternity. I was in too deep. The longer I waited to explain, the higher their expectations were. My only hope was to just wait them out, and I am not a quitter. I laughed like my life depended on it. I laughed harder than anyone has ever laughed in the history of mankind. My eyes were tearing up.
That
I
is
was
insane.
clutching my sides. I lost my balance and slid down the wall. I made sure the entire school could hear me. I might have overdone it. Eventually, everyone went to class, and I was left alone on the floor of the hallway. They all probably thought I was the weirdest kid in school.
Because Tim, I hate to break it to you, if this story is true, you were the weirdest kid in school. That is insane. What you did is insane. This goes beyond everything else. That's insane. These decisions are truly incredible. But Tim, I am so glad that you at least can benefit from these horrible, ridiculous decisions as a child.
They all probably thought I was the weirdest kid in school, but hey, at least nobody knows I scream like a girl.
Oh my gosh. For that, my G, bam, bam. How fun was that? What a good time. I love discovering new channels I haven't seen before. The world of animation on YouTube is a glorious place. And people, before I say anything else, you better be subscribed to TimTom. Subscribe to TimTom if you like these videos. Link will be in the description and it'll pop up on screen in a second. But man, that was a lot of fun. I pretty much said everything that I have to say. I don't really have much to conclude, but what a wacky lad. I had a ton of fun. People, here's TimTom's channel. You better be subscribed if you liked the video. He did all the hard work. Here is the last animation reaction we did. Check it out if you have not seen it, or here's a video that YouTube thinks you will like. Are they right? You let me know. I appreciate you. Have a great day, handsome. Bye.